Welcome to LindenwoodLions.com, the signing day central here on LindenwoodLions.com. Mike Morgan along with head football coach Patrick Ross. And Coach Ross, finally, signing day is here and gone, and it's like 365 days of work that all culminates in about 3 hours watching a fax machine.
Yeah, I'm extremely pleased with the class our coaching staff brought in, and it's funny because you get verbal commitments starting in early January, and you got to hold on to those for a month. And we actually canceled our last two recruiting weekends because we got our commitments within the first couple of weeks of the recruiting weekends in January. So I'm pleased with a lot of hard work. Again, you start this. We're actually going to start a recruiting meeting tomorrow morning and start working on the 2014 class. So with all that work, I'm really pleased with the guys we signed in our class this year.
So 24 high school seniors and 7 transfers come into the Lindenwood family next year. And just talk about a little bit of general terms about those 24 high school seniors.
Well, we had to hit a couple of areas we thought were important. One, defensive back. We felt our secondary really needed to be reloaded and amped up, and we feel we did a great job with that. Both our transfer class and our high school class in the secondary is as good as we've had here since we've been on this campus. So that was an area we needed to hit. The other things, we need to get a little bit longer. We had some. We weren't that much smaller than everybody else. We were shorter than everybody else in this league. So we really tried to focus on some height while at the same time keeping our mobility and athleticism. So I really think we hit our targets there too. We got a couple 6'3", 6'4" defensive ends and offensive linemen. So now we can, and they're thinner guys, so we can put some weight on them and get good weight on them and keep their versatility and their speed going.
You get 7 transfers from colleges all around the country. Talk a little bit about those transfers.
Well, again, we needed help in the secondary. With Pierre being the only returning guy with any experience for us and losing some really solid players back there over the last several years, we needed to find guys who could come and help us right away. And we didn't know what we'd get from a high school recruiting class, so we wanted to find some mid-years. We have a pretty big quarterback battle going on this spring, so we need to make sure we had some defensive backs to help push the wide receivers and the quarterbacks while they're challenging for position. So we went and found some kids that we really think are going to be special Division II players, all of them. I mean, we brought several of those guys in to come and help us right away. And a defensive lineman we added to the mix, Jamal Fears, who we really liked out of high school last year, came back to us after one semester at Alabama State. So he'll give us some size inside there at over 300 pounds, right around 300 pounds. Another guy we liked out of high school is Derek Van Clive as a defensive end a few years ago, and got a chance to get him back, and we're actually going to move him over to the offensive side of the ball because he's got great length at 6'4" and 280 pounds.
A lot of when you talk and see Division I recruiting and all that, they talk about sealing the borders. You did a pretty good job on that today. You signed 12 high school seniors from the state of Missouri.
Yeah, and that's actually excellent because we have to find the kids that meet our target, as in they have to meet our academic standards, our athletic standards, and then financially we got to make it work with us being a private school and a state school league. We really have to find ways to help offset the cost there with 36 scholarships, just like everybody else in the league. Our 50% scholarship isn't going to be the same as a 50% scholarship at a state school, so we really have to do a good job of finding guys who are going to get academic scholarship and maybe have some need-based money. And so I think our coaches did a great job of finding everybody we could locally and get them in here.
Final thing before we wrap everything up, just in general terms, how do you feel about this 2013 recruiting class?
It's funny because the optimism is high in every coaching room around the country, but the reality is who can retain their players and who can develop their players on a consistent basis. And I think we've proven over the years past that we've been able to do that. So that's going to be the important thing. We're all going to have great players, a lot of great high school players, and everybody in our league should be proud of the guys that they've signed. We took a look already and saw some of the guys that signed this league, and there's some outstanding football players. Now it's going to come down to retention and development, which we feel we do a great job with.
Well, 2013 football recruiting class here done at Lindenwood. 24 high school seniors, 7 transfers for a total of 31 new Lindenwood Lions coming into the Lindenwood family here on National Signing Day here on LindenwoodLions.com.